very advanced and sophisticated civilization, and then devolved. And the Egyptians the same way. The earlier dynasties have the better jewelry, built the better pyramids, did all this stuff, and then it just degraded as it went along because they were losing the knowledge. And so the anomalies continue, including the discoveries of giant bones of giant humanoid type people all around the world, in the Middle East, in North America, the Indian mounds in the Mississippi Valley. And this, of course, giants are nothing new. We still get giants with us today, and yet these bones have been picked up, hauled away, put in the Smithsonian Institution, and they disappear. And it's like y'all are thinking, well, I've never heard of this. No, because they will not talk about this. This is part of our hidden history. And yet, all around the world, they have found these giant bones. And of course, if you go on the internet, they're going to tell you that these are all just fakes. And I'm sure some of them are. But all of them are not. And we're not being told about the whole thing. I have seen the newspaper articles from the 1800s where they're reporting on the discovery of these giant bones of ancient human-type people long before we came along. And it's all reported on, and then it just goes away. Smithsonian, we all think of that as this great scientific institution, which it is. But what you don't realize is it's an agency of the United States government. They own and control it. So they, they're not telling you about UFOs. Why should they tell you about giant human bones and our true history? Here's a newspaper article from 1909 where they were discovering Egyptian artifacts in the Grand Canyon. And I myself have talked to a fellow who said he was backpacking in the northern part of the Grand Canyon when he came across these giant concrete platforms. And he theorized, and I tend to agree with him, that this is where they had the winches and the derricks and stuff to take these Egyptian artifacts out of there and get them out of these caves that line the northern part of the Grand Canyon. Well, wait a minute. What happened to all of that? Went to the Smithsonian and disappeared into the black hole. And yet, interestingly enough, even today, if you go look at a detailed map, you'll find that in the area on the north side of the Grand Canyon, we find the Tower of Set, the Tower of Ra, the Horns Temple, the Osiris Temple, and the Isis Temple. They've got Egyptian names. Well, where'd they come from? Because they found the artifacts. But you had never been told that. And now, when I go to Egypt, and I was visiting Seti's palace there in Abydos,